We all know the story of a famous midnight ride made by a lone rider. No, I'm not talking about Paul Revere, mainly because he wasn't the only rider that night in 1775. I'm talking about Caesar Rodney and his ride to Independence Hall. So if you don't already know, then let's bring the past into the present with Caesar Rodney. There are many figures who contribute to history. Most are overlooked, some command the spotlight, and some are simply forgotten. American history is no exception, with heroes, traitors, villains, and simply those who were in the right spot at the right time. But all these figures, good or bad, would contribute to this story, our story. This is Forgotten Figures. Caesar Rodney was born on October 7, 1728, in Kent County, Delaware, on a parcel of land called East Dover Hundred. He was the oldest son of two children, and at 13 or 14 he attended Latin school, which was a common practice those days, at the College of Philadelphia, now known as the University of Pennsylvania. At the age of 27, he was elected sheriff of Kent County. It was an office with a max of 1 3-year term, and so after his 3 years, he was elected to another office. During the same time, the French and Indian War broke out, going from 1754 to 1763, and Rodney was commissioned captain of the Dover Hundred Company, part of Colonel John Vining's regiment of Delaware militia. Organizing his company was as good as it would get, as his company never saw service. After the war, one of the many grievances that would lead to revolution was the Stamp Act. In 1765, Rodney would attend the Stamp Act Congress and become the leader of the Delaware Committee of Correspondence. Locally, in 1769, he became an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the Lower Counties, an office he would hold until 1777. As events between the colonies and England continued to escalate, he was elected to serve in the First Continental Congress in 1774, and would continue to serve in this body until 1776, at which point the Delaware Assembly voted to sever ties with England. Now, as debate raged for independence, Rodney was back in Delaware organizing the local militia. Then word came that the Delaware contingent was at a stalemate, so he did the only logical thing. He mounted a horse and rode 70 miles through driving rain and a thunderstorm to arrive at Independence Hall and break the stalemate, casting a vote for independence. Now that is the stuff of legend. On August 2nd, he would officially affix his name to the Declaration of Independence. During the Battle of Princeton, Rodney's friend John Haslet died, and he attempted to join the Continental Army in his stead, but was turned back by George Washington. He would, however, be appointed the wartime governor of Delaware and Major General of Delaware Militia. As such, he protected Delaware from the British and Loyalist activity, particularly in the Black Camp Rebellion of 1780. In October 1777, he was elected back to the Continental Congress, and 5 months later, he would be elected as President of Delaware. He was instrumental in stabilizing Delaware during the war and supporting the Continental Army. His health, however, was progressively declining during the war, and on November 6, 1781, he resigned his office. The citizens, however, still believed in him, and they elected him first to the Delaware General Assembly and then to the newly created United States Congress, upheld by the Articles of Confederation in 1782 and 1783. His health, however, prevented him from attending. The people of Delaware were nothing if not persistent, and continued to elect Rodney to political offices. In 1783 and 1784, they elected him to the Legislative Council of Delaware, and he was named Speaker out of respect. Unfortunately, on June 26, 1784, he would die of facial cancer. He would be buried in an unmarked grave on his family farm of Poplar Grove, today known as Byfield. There is a monument dedicated to his honor at the Christ Episcopal Church. Caesar Rodney is an important figure in American history, but he's often overshadowed by Paul Revere's similar midnight ride, despite the fact that Paul Revere wasn't actually alone during his ride. But without his influence in the Delaware Assembly, independence might not have happened as quickly as it did, or at all, and we might not have won the revolution without his support from the state of Delaware. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to check out the rest of my videos on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.